Reed.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you both for your willingness to serve. Ms. Kraninger, I assume you're familiar with the Military Lending Act. So if a service member would prefer to go to court to enforce his or her rights instead of being forced into arbitration, do you think that service member's choice should be protected?
Yes, Senator, to the extent, again, it's provided under the law.
The Military Lending Act has been recently strengthened by the Department of Defense with new regulations to close loopholes and to prevent unscrupulous lenders from preying upon service members, men and women. And having in my earlier days been a executive officer in a company, I've seen this firsthand. So do you support these stronger MLA rules, and if confirmed, we enforce them to the fullest extent possible?
Senator, I'm absolutely committed to enforcing the law.
The rulemaking pointed out that one of the impacts on service members in their military careers is the financial instability caused by being exploited, and that affects their performance. So the Military Lending Act, I'm very concerned and involved in. It just helps our readiness. And one of the things I think that we had to accept was the limit on interest charged to an individual service member is 36%. Do you think that is too high, given the current market rates, which are, even for credit products, are about 16%?
Senator, certainly the rate varies associated with what the product is and what the risks are available. I support competition in the marketplace such that service members and others have the opportunity to avail themselves of different options in the market based on what their financial needs are.
But the question, I think, is that we statutorily set the rate, the top rate at 36%. But given current rates in the market, which roughly 16% for the return on the Dow Jones, my view is I think we should be able to lower those rates. So would you be supportive of legislation that would lower those rates?
Senator, I appreciate where you're coming from in the question, but I do think it depends on what the product is and what the conditions are and terms are. There are various products in the marketplace, certainly when it comes to short dollar lending options that are there. It differs greatly from the credit card products or other products in the market.
Well, I would hope that we could work, my colleagues and I, to lower that interest rate to make it more competitive to what's available in the market for most products, regardless of how long the duration. Did you or anyone with whom you work with at OMB on Homeland Security or Justice Department issues ever refer to the administration's policy of separating immigrant families at the border as the deterrent?
Senator, I am not sure that may have been in public comments by individuals, but I am not sure.
Have you ever used that? You ever heard anyone discussing when
Senator,
they discuss issues?
Recognizing that in 2014 that was something that was discussed and the courts actually ruled on that, that was determined at least in, I believe, the Southern District of California as not appropriate. So I appreciate where you're coming from on.
Do you feel it's not appropriate right now?
Senator,
right here?
These are very difficult, challenging issues. The sovereign nation should defend its borders, I believe, and at the same time, there are a lot of circumstances from people around the world.
Let me ask a
wish
simple
to be
question.
here.
Do you think separating children from their parents is a way to deter border crossings?
Senator, again, I don't want to talk about the.
You don't want to talk about it, but I am asking you a question.
Yes,
So would you like to be
understand
responsive?
I'm sorry, I don't want to characterize the internal conversation.
I'm asking what you feel, ma'am.
I understand, Senator, but it does go down the road of advice
It goes
and
down the
personal
road to
opinion.
your values and your judgment and those things that we look for when you evaluate someone who's going to lead the CFPB. That's where it goes down the road to, and you don't want to go down that road. So I would suspect that you probably have done that, or you feel that way. Do you feel that way?
Senator, I don't believe my personal opinions or feelings on this issue are the appropriate line of discussion. I understand why you're asking. I do believe that There are, certainly I've been to many places in the world. I've spent time in Guatemala. I served in the Peace Corps. I understand the country that we have today that is an amazing country where we have many freedoms that others in the world do not. And I certainly appreciate that this is a place where people would like to come to enjoy those freedoms.
So I only can assume that you in fact used the term deterrent and didn't object to it and feel that's an appropriate policy consideration. So thank you very much.